So I'm Valerie, and I've been here in Boone 28 years now. So it's really the longest place I've been anywhere, and it's definitely my home. And my yoga journey goes back 25 years at least. At least 25 years. And I've started the business here, Neighborhood Yoga, 10 years ago. This space is really a heart space to me because I built it, my husband and I built it in our own backyard a little over 10 years ago. And it came out of just really wanting to build a yoga community in Boone. We're a really small community already, and the yoga community even smaller. So we were kind of practitioners practicing in other people's living rooms, kind of different places, but not a really place to come together. There was no place to do that in Boone and practice yoga. So my initial intention was to build a space where practitioners could come and we could practice together. So here it is in my backyard. And we did this by approaching the town of Boone to get a conditional use permit to do it. So we're not even really designated commercial property in this space. But here we are 10 years later. And in that 10 years, I've just really seen the business grow to a point where now we've kind of outgrown not only our physical space here, but our original conditional use permit as well. We had had a reception the day before. It was a beautiful day like this. It was in the fall, it was in October. And then it seemed like the next day it turned winter. And it was a really cold kind of late October morning. And in that first class, it was like a 7 a.m. class. And there were 3 people, and one of them was my mother. So, I had this idea that if I build it, they will come. And to some degree, that's true, but it's not that simple. So all of our community classes have shifted to our new space downtown, and then this space is still used for teacher trainings and smaller workshops. Right now we have 3 different trainings: a 200-hour teacher training, a 300-hour teacher training, an Alexander technique training, and some regular classes from people offering everything from Thai yoga massage to martial arts. And then we have yoga teachers coming through that are offering workshops for continuing ed in this space as well. So it's getting used pretty regularly. As I shifted into our new space, I was really interested in making it very intentionally kind of a sacred space. And you'll see that the space itself looks less like a yoga studio and more like a temple. And that was very intentional in my part. I wanted people to know that we're offering more than just the physical practice. My hope is that us moving downtown can maybe even be a catalyst for other businesses moving downtown, using unused spaces, and giving a reason for people, locals, to come downtown for a healthy alternative even after 5 o'clock.
And so, how do you feel when you walk in here these days?
Well, I have to be honest, in many ways it's exceeded my expectations. Mm-hmm. And that's exciting to me, and it's exciting to see people walk into the space and just kind of their mouth sort of hangs open and they're like, I never knew this was up here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And have your folks that used to practice in the old space, have they come here with you?
They have come here and they've really embraced this new space. Mm-hmm. But not without its challenges. Mm-hmm. I've created this environment, but then it presents a different set of challenges. And one of the ones that I've found, not only as a studio owner, but as a teacher in the space, is we were able to create a certain sense of intimacy in our other space. So now, how can we create that same sense of intimacy in this space? It's a bigger space. There's new people in class all the time. We don't know everybody in class. So that's the challenge for us as yoga teachers, is finding a way to create that same intimacy in our new space. I run into people all the time and they say, oh, you're Valerie, the yoga studio. It must be great. And I think the perception there is that I'm doing yoga all day. And I wish that were the case, but that's not necessarily the case. As a business owner, much like any other business, much of what I do happens behind the scenes. And unfortunately, a lot of it means sitting behind a computer, which was not my initial intention for creating this business. But it's a little bit of the reality of running the day-to-day things at the studio. But what I found is that even though the business of yoga is quite different than the practice of yoga, if I can find a way to run my business from a yogic perspective, then not only is my personal well-being much better off, so is the health of the business, I think. So I've been in business 10 years, and I kind of make a joke about it, although it's probably not funny, that 10 years with no business plan. And literally that was, I learned what I learned along the way until I took that first business class with Ascent, which you came to speak at. I really had no budget before that, but it made me really sit down and define my intentions, my values, my own unique offerings, and how those fit into the bigger picture. And what I've found is that I have to keep coming back to that, right? Because sometimes I can get caught up in all the little details of running the business, and I kind of get hyper-focused. And I know your business is called Bird's Eye, so I guess it really allows us to step back and look at the bigger picture of things and how those details fit in there. And that's what that particular business class for me allowed me to do both. It allowed me to define the details and then step back and look at the bigger picture. And now what I need to do is keep reminding myself to go back to my intention. Once I stray too far, I usually know it, and it causes suffering on my end. And then I have to get back to why it is I do what I do. I started this business not because I had a business background and thought, I'd like to start a business. That thought actually never entered my mind, really. I created a business out of what I love to do. So that passion for what I do came first, and then I really had to learn the business along the way. Our mantra, one of the mantras that I kind of developed after a few years into the business was, come as you are and awaken to your essence. And neighborhood yoga where all paths meet. So we've really tried to live that through our teachings here at the studio as well.